I'm Simon Trujillo, and today we're going to talk about the Comparative Anatomy Laboratory.
Introduction. That day, the November the 14th, we talked about all the animal systems and comparing them. That happened with all the classes together.
All the dissections that the teachers did were recorded and then shown in the bigger screen.
The first living thing that we saw was the Amphioxus. The guiders didn't open that animal because it was very small.
The first animal that the guiders opened was the agnates. This primitive animal doesn't have jaw.
All the students were impressed because the liver of the agnates looked like a sausage.
The agnates has two really small kidneys.
After, we saw a small shark.
The guiders opened the shark and we saw all the parts meticulously. As the shark was cartilaginous, we could open the head and see the brain.
This is an image of its brain. After this, the guiders started with the bony fish. The teachers told us that the operculum is the best adaptation for the bony fish to breathe. After this, the guides started with the amphibians. There was a frog. As the teacher opened the frog, we could see his primitive lungs.
Frogs breathe by the skin. That's why they have to keep their skin moistened. The small bird that we saw, we didn't open it because it was very small and it was very difficult to see what it had inside.
And finally, we saw the mammals. There was a rat with 8 fetuses and a pig.
The animal that we saw was the Amphioxus, but the teacher didn't open it because it was very small. But he said that it was the first living thing that we know that is still alive. Then we passed to the agnates that doesn't have a jaw and it just sticks to the rocks, so it could take all the nutrients from there. Then in the evolution, we passed to the shark. That one doesn't have any bones except in the jaws. It's all made from cartilaginous tissues. Then comes the frog that has a cutaneous respiration but also has lungs, but very, very primitive. So they always have to keep their skin moistened so they can dilute the oxygen. Then we pass to the rat, that it had very, very similar organs and shapes in the organs that we have now humans. And then the pig, that was the last one, and we didn't open it because it was very similar with the rat and we had already opened the rat.
The results from our lab are that we could see and compare many body systems. Then we could watch the difference between them.
We couldn't examine the Amphioxus because it was very small and very hard to look inside.
In terms of evolution, we could see that the agnates was more efficient than the Amphioxus because it had a better digestive system and respiration. The liver of the agnates is a proof of the more efficient digestive system.
In comparison with the agnates, the shark has a more efficient respiratory system.
By the other hand, we have the jaws of the shark, which was the only part that was bony, in comparison with the agnates, which didn't have any jaws. The jaw represents a really clear adaptation in the evolution.
A very important fact of the shark's respiratory system is that they cannot stay still because they asphyxiate, because they need the water entering in their mouth.
In the other case, we have the bony fish that has developed for evolution an operculum to keep the water entering in its gills. This bony fish has a line from the operculum to the tail that refers the changes of the current of the water.
Also, this kind of fish developed a bony structure so it could keep harder to the outside things. The frog has cutaneous respiration. This means that they breathe by the skin, but this has a problem, that is that they have to keep their skin moistened so they can dilute the oxygen. But they have also very primitive lungs that they just function a very small amount of time.
The birds, by the other hand, develop a really advanced respiratory system by taking the oxygen twice. Finally, we saw the mammals in the laboratory.
The mammals developed an uterus so the zygote can grow inside them. Also developed some nipples so they can feed the offspring and keep him alive without taking him to the risks. Then we saw the pig. That one we didn't open it because it was very similar to the rat and also very similar to the human structure in the systems.
This laboratory was very disgusting for some students, but as a whole, it was very interesting. We could learn the different types of adaptations that the animals over the past of the time have developed. Recapitulating, nothing really went wrong in the lab. There was just so many people that some of us couldn't listen very well the explanations of the teachers.